Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first official launch day of the Goals with Laken Planner. The day that this video goes live is the day that the 2025 version is available for sale. If you are interested in trying out the Goals with Laken Planner for 2025, the full year version, which is a really good deal, is available. You could get just the prep work pages if you want to get those, or you can get just Q1 if you just want to try it out for a quarter and see if it works for you before committing to the entire year. But I am just so excited. Like I can't believe this is technically the third year that this planner is launching. The 2023 version was still very much like beta and I gave it to just the community and got their feedback and then used it myself. And then 2024 was the first like full year version that I launched. And now here we are in 2025 and this version is amazing. And I'm just so excited for you to have it in your hands, even though we still have so much of 2024 left, which is exactly what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about my Q4 and October goals. I feel like I'm still getting used to the way that I'm lumping things at the quarter, but this video will include my business goals for Q4, my personal goals for Q4, except technically just October and November, and then my action steps that I'm going to focus on in October. So that the personal stuff stays lumped together because it will make more sense, we're gonna start with my business goals. And I talked, if you watched the video that went live yesterday where I recapped my Q3 goals, it worked for me. The way that I did Q3 goals differently from prior quarters absolutely worked for me. And I'm so thankful for that. And so I am continuing with the exact same thing in Q4. I technically have 6 goals in my business, but 3 of them are kind of the recurring tasks behind the scenes. And then there are 3 other main projects. So the first one is my revenue goal, which as of the recording of this video, I actually have not decided yet. So when I am recording this, the quarterly sheet, the goal sheet doesn't actually have numbers or dots yet. I am going to, just like last quarter, add the numbers here for, well, some of them. I don't know that I really will have numbers for Vlogmas or the podcast. But the other ones will all have numbers and I will do a good, better, and best. And then I will add dots for me to check off as the quarter goes on. I loved being able to visibly see the progress I was making on a quarterly basis or on a regular basis over the course of the quarter. But right now, I haven't picked those numbers yet. It's still a little bit early before the end of the quarter, so I'm not quite ready to commit to them. But I will pick a revenue goal, I'll do a good, better, best, and then I will do the dots that I will check off for my revenue goal. And then that color will just represent all of the recurring tasks in the business related to the community and the YouTube live, YouTube videos, etc. The next quarterly goal is Vlogmas. And even though that is technically content and could fall in the recurring tasks, Vlogmas is its own project in and of itself, right? Recording a vlog every day for almost 3 weeks is the plan. And executing, having my editor edit those, getting all the prep behind the scenes, promoting them, like all the steps that go with Vlogmas, it's a lot. And so I wanted to make it its own project because it will take up more time than just doing YouTube on a regular basis does. The next one is the podcast. I am so thankful that I included it in my business goals last quarter as opposed to just being its own recurring task. It made sense for me because before last quarter, I was giving it the pink color. Spoiler alert, the podcast doesn't bring in any revenue. So it doesn't make sense to be the pink color. It makes sense for it to be its own thing. But I like including it in my work goals in general. Then, just like Q3, I have a goal for the Goals with Laken community of new members that I want to join and a couple projects that we're doing behind the scenes in order to execute on that. Community members, keep an eye out because there's a couple fun things coming in October that I'm excited about and then prepping for something for January. The next one is the goal prep workshops, which I also could probably somewhat finagle into a recurring task, but it is also its own thing. And those are the live workshops that I run in December to help you prepare for the new year. I started doing these years ago. They used to be embedded inside the community. I pulled them out a couple years ago and it just makes sense for it to be its own thing, for you to be able to prep for the new year. Whether you're a community member or not, you can participate. Just like last year, I'm gonna give you a little secret. If you're here, they will go on sale for Black Friday. That's when you can sign up, is starting on actually earlier than Black Friday. We're gonna do it a little bit earlier. So if you're interested in saving money on the goal workshops and joining them live, I'll post the dates way earlier so that you can save the dates, but they will actually go on sale for Black Friday and then they'll be available for purchase. But there's a lot of behind the scenes of prepping and talking about those, and then obviously executing them in December. There's a lot of execution going on in December. And then the last business goal for the quarter is the task blocks goal. And that is the number of hours I actually want to work in my business in Q4. And by setting that as a goal has just been so beneficial for me. It has helped me so much not worry about the projects and what exactly is or isn't getting done, and more just prioritizing spending time working on my business on things other than recurring tasks, other than the things that I always do, but things that can actually grow the business in the future. Obviously, I haven't set the numbers yet. The numbers I picked for Q3 were nowhere near what I ended up doing, but I have a lot of data now and I can be a lot more realistic, and I'm excited to set those goals. So I probably will do the same thing though, as I did in Q3, and set a weekly goal, and I will set a minimum goal for the week and then a maximum, a maximum goal for the week, and aim to hit somewhere in between there over the course of the quarter. If you can tell, I'm like really excited about my business goals for Q4. And those goals will extend all the way from October 1st to January 1st. My personal goals, that is not going to be the case. So for my personal goals, I am doing this just in October and November. I have said this for years and years that I don't want to have personal goals in November. Between the goal prep workshops and Vlogmas and the holidays, that's a lot. And while there are personal goals that I think support that, I also think I've always added things that take away from that focus and leave me feeling overwhelmed. I've said it multiple times, and this year I'm finally gonna just freaking do it. So let's talk about my Q4 goals, AKA October and November. So the first one is related to the overarching annual goal of making time for myself. And I just called this take care of myself. So this is just a continuation of the physical health action steps that I started in September. If you watched the September goals video from where I talked about my September goals, I added in some physical health goals that were totally separate from any of my Q3 goals because I just knew I needed to prioritize them again to feel good. And I'm really glad that I did that. And I want to carry some of those things over. So working out, water, etc. And I'm making it its own goal for Q4. The next quarterly goal, also related to making time for myself, is prioritizing skincare. I know you probably can't tell because this new camera is making me look glowing and lovely. My skin has not been loving me lately. And I know some of that is probably stress related from some other things, as well as summer heat and humidity, but I really want to prioritize taking care of my skin. And so that is one of my goals. The next two are related to family fun and memories. So the first one is December daily. That technically will carry through December, obviously. But I don't see that as a new separate goal. It is something that I have done. This will be my 6th year doing December daily. It's my 7th year doing Vlogmas and my 6th year doing December daily. But if you were here or and I know some of you do because you give me a hard time about it, I did not finish last year's December daily. I have all the pictures planned and printed and ready to go, but I didn't finish. I got through day 11. So even though it's something that is December, I'm gonna start it in October, and you'll see the action steps I've chosen for October. And then spoiler alert, it will also include finishing 2023. And then in December, I will execute on 2024. I'm not going to actually write that down. I'm not gonna have a monthly tracker for December because December daily will just be tracked. Did I do it? And then the other family fun and memories is to just play more games. As it starts to get a little bit colder and we're inside, I want to play some of the games that we have in our house. This idea came from, we had a friend in town and then another mutual friend that lives here. And so they both came over, we ordered dinner, and one of them brought a new game that we had never played. And it was so fun. We had such a good time. And so I just want to prioritize that in Q4. The next quarterly goal is related to the household rhythms and routine. And I just call this prep home for the new year. It's really a deep clean. I almost did this last week. Last week we had a trip we were supposed to be on that ended up getting canceled. So we had these bonus 4 days at home that we weren't planning to be here. And I almost did this, an entire deep clean of our apartment. And I almost broke it down where I was gonna do, I'm just laughing at myself because this was so ambitious and it took me one day to be Laken, you're no. I broke our home down into 8 sections, and I was going to do it during Lila's 8 naps over those 4 days. That's how I was going to spend her nap time over these 4 days, was deep cleaning our apartment. That was really ambitious. Not that I think the sections, most of them would take me more time than that, but that was just like cramming it into that 4 days was unnecessary. But what I decided to do was take that idea and put it on over the course of 2 months. So over the course of October and November, there's actually 9 weeks, not almost 9 full weeks. And so what I'm gonna do is one of those spaces, I broke it down into 8 spaces, 1 per week over the 9 weeks. And I have 1 buffer in there, which is likely just gonna be the week of Thanksgiving. So ideally it'll be done the first 8 weeks, but that is my plan for that goal. Very simple. Most of these, truthfully, are very simple in terms of the breakdown. It wasn't super complicated to break these down, and barring any explosions, I already kind of know what my November goals are gonna look like too, where that's not always the case. Sometimes what the next step that I pick the next month really depends, and I guess it does depend. If I do none of it in October and then I have to do 2 per week in November, we'll see. And then the last quarterly goal is to build an easy recipe list. I need to stop trying to overcomplicate things in the kitchen. I don't like to cook. I don't like to be in the kitchen, but it's necessary. Dinner needs to get on the table. So I want to go into the new year with an easy list of recipes that we can reference all year long. That's it. I don't want to have to look for new recipes next year. So I'm going to do that in December. So those are my Q4 goals. Again, very simple and straightforward, which will come through as we move into talking about my October steps. October also is very busy for us. I'm going to be out of town 3 of the 4 weekends in October. We have 2 weddings, and then I'm going on a trip with my dad. So I knew that my October goals had to be simple. Although I say that and I'm looking at this and there's a lot of weekly things on this, but they're all like things I can do during the week. Nothing during the weekdays is that out of the ordinary in October. It's just the weekends. So with that said, I only have 3 one-time steps that I'm working on over the course of October. The first one is related to December daily, and that is to get all the supplies organized. I just like threw it all in boxes and threw it in the corner of our bedroom, and they've just been sitting there. So that's step 1, is to get the supplies organized. Number 2 is to just play 1 game. We have 31 days. I'm gonna play 1 game in the month of October. And I say 31 days, I actually am thinking of October as 5 full weeks. October 1st is a Tuesday, and so I'm gonna start on September 30th. And then because November starts on a Friday, I'm actually gonna also treat that last week as October. So for me, October is actually 5 full weeks. I have found that this year, I think I talked about this in videos, but in case you haven't heard, or I haven't said it enough, I am not worrying about the months as like the 1st to the 1st anymore. I'm worrying about them as like a Monday to a Monday. So September for me, because the 1st was a Sunday, started on Tuesday the 2nd and will end on Sunday the 29th, and it's only 4 weeks. October is gonna be 5 weeks. That works better for me, and my brain works for me. Doesn't mean it has to work for you. So technically I have 35 days in October to play 1 game. And then the one-time step related to the meals is to clean the current list. For some personal reasons, there's a couple of recipes that we have on our current list that we need to take off. So I just want to start with a clean slate. So I'm going to go through our current recipes, take off the ones that don't work for our family anymore, and just make sure I'm starting with a clean slate. Moving on to the weekly steps. So again, the weekly steps, I have all 7 lines filled up, which might be a little bit much given how busy it is, but I can do a lot of these during the weekdays. So the first 3 is just to get a workout in. That's related to the goal of taking care of myself. I set a goal in September to do 4. It's not looking like I'm gonna hit that any of those weeks, so I scaled back for October, and my goal is just to do 3. Then the next one is related to my skincare, and that is to do 1 face mask over the course of the week, and that I can easily do during the weekdays. I typically will do face masks when I take a bath, so I kind of need to link that in my brain. When I'm taking a bath, I'm gonna do a face mask. The next one is organize the supplies. Because the weekends are so busy, I know that I would be better off doing a little bit every week. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if that's really gonna work. I can see it going either way. I could see just needing one long afternoon and a couple of hours and just going through the supplies and getting it done that way. But I could also see the value of doing a little bit every week. So I put it in the weekly section. That may end up getting taken away and not worrying about it being a weekly goal. The one area, exactly what I talked about, my goal is gonna be to use one nap, right? Lila takes 10 naps Monday through Friday. I can use one of those naps per week to do one area of our house, and then I will get through all 8 areas. I am focusing on deep cleaning, not necessarily decluttering. Obviously, if I find stuff to get rid of, I can get rid of, but I'm focusing on cleaning. That is the goal, to get us prepared for the new year. And then the last weekly step is to update the meal list. So my goal is to update it like when I am meal planning that week, to add a couple of recipes so that I feel good and ready to go. But we'll kind of see how that goes. That's the one goal I may be a smidge nervous about. But I really do like what I want, what I have a vision for going into the new year and actually going into December and the chaos that is December. It will feel really good if it looks the way I want it to look at the end. And then for daily steps, I actually kept it super, super simple, and I only have 3 daily steps, and they're all things that I'm doing now. None of them are new. And so it hopefully won't feel super overwhelming. The first one is prioritizing my water. That is something that I was already doing in September. I'm carrying it over to October. It's not only here on my goal sheet, but it is also my last 100 days goal. If you haven't heard me talk about that, I have a highlight tab on my Instagram, and here it's not too late to join us. And so my focus is water. And so I have it in 2 places. Like, I'm gonna be hydrated in Q4. And then the next 2 daily steps are just related to the skincare goal. This is where thinking about not having goals in December is actually coming to fruition. I actually explained this on a live a couple of weeks ago. Well, the day that I'm filming it was today, but from when you're seeing this, it was a couple weeks ago. I had to think about the fact that I wasn't going to do goals in December, because when it came to my skincare, I really wanted to have 3 daily steps. I wanted to have the first part in the morning, which is like right when I wake up. I wanted to have the second part of my morning, which is like when I get ready for the day. That one I'm not as good at because I don't always get ready for the day. And so sometimes, but I don't necessarily want to do that step first thing in the morning. So I don't know, now that I'm saying out loud, maybe I could just combine them and do it all first thing in the morning. Like, what's the harm in that? I don't know. Maybe I need to think about that a little bit more. Maybe I will just cross it off. But either way, in my head, there's like AM step 1 and AM step 2. And then PM. So if I was doing this over the course of a regular quarter, I would have done AM part 1 in the first month, AM part 2 in the next month, and PM in the third month. But knowing that I don't want to have any new goals in December, I put both AM 1 and 2 in October, and then surprise, not surprise, it'll likely be PM in November. So we'll see if I end up deciding to keep that. I know I say this every time I film one of these videos, y'all, but I always get something out of talking about my goals. So if you feel like you're struggling with goals, try to talk about them. Talk about them a little bit and see how it feels. Like, see how if saying things out loud, you can send me a voice memo. Like I'll listen to you talk about your goals, and something may come out of talking about them. But I am really excited about the new quarter, in case you couldn't tell, and October, and I just feel like I am being really thoughtful about what my quarter looks like and what is important to me going into Q4, while also throwing some fun things in there, like playing games. So before we go, I want you to let me know down in the comments, what is one goal that you have set for Q4 or October that you are really excited about? And if you watched all the way to the end, you are the best. Comment below, include a pumpkin emoji in your comments. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. That the personal stuff is that right? Wow. It's my 7th year doing Vlogmas. It's my 7th year doing Vlogmas. Why can't I say that word? Why does that math not math? Okay, no it does. I want you to let